TomHanksgiving, right here every Tuesday. TomHanksgiving, come on and press play. There's Elvis, the host with the most, yada 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 yada. With a different guest each week, they're the smart ones. Each episode's a new movie about Tom Hanks, the man himself. Of course, it's time for TomHanksgiving. It's the best you can get. It's the rootinest, tootinest podcast on the internet. TomHanksgiving.
Hey, howdy, hey, partner, and welcome to TomHanksgiving. I'm Canada's greatest stuntman, Elvis Kaboom, and today we're joined by the coveted, still in working condition voice box, SungWon Cho.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, right?
All right.
Wow, today is finally the day.
Yep.
We're talking Toy Story 4.
That's right.
Woody? Why am I alive? You are a toy. You belong to Bonnie. These are your friends.
Woody, I have a question. Well, actually, not just one. I have all the questions.
Directed by Josh Cooley, and holy cow, a lot of writing credits on this.
Yeah.
Original story by John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton and Josh Cooley and Valerie Lapointe and Rashida Jones. Remember that whole saga?
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
And Will McCormick and Martin Hines and Stephanie Folsom, with a screenplay by Andrew Stanton and Stephanie Folsom.
Okay.
And wow.
Yeah.
That we just saw the movie.
It is like 12:35 for us. So.
It is presently June 21st, the day it comes out. We saw it the Thursday night
Oh,
before.
it premieres today?
Yeah.
Today? Oh,
This is
was
it.
like was this the only showing?
There was previous showings.
Okay, but this was like early.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Saw it on the IMAX screen.
Yeah.
The theater was pretty packed.
Yeah.
Good crowd.
That was a good crowd.
Wow. A lot of expectations going into this movie.
I don't know if I had a lot of expectations. I had I think we talked about it last time. I was like,
We've been talking about this since we did the Toy Story 3
true.
podcast.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean a lot of good expectations.
Right. I knew my expectations were very low at the beginning. After we watched the shorts, they were a little bit better.
The expectations were even Dickensian, you could say.
And then the reviews came out, and I was like, oh, okay, it's supposed to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to keep my expectations at a middle to low to middle, just to be safe. And I think it matched up with my expectations, I think. But I think you liked it a lot more than I did.
I will say, longest time I was dreading it. I was figuring this is going to be another Incredibles 2 situation.
Sure.
The trailer didn't help too much.
Yeah.
But honestly, since we did last week's episode, the enthusiasm of the Toy Story world kind of got to me.
Yeah.
So I was going in and I was like, there's some buzz about it. I'm trying. But yeah, try to temper my expectations as well. But I was a little bit more excited by the time the movie started rolling.
Yeah.
And
when it started rolling, and let me say, the beginning of it really was quite good.
Really solid.
You have an
opening.
RC be the fucking rescue victim, and 9 years.
The key to the Toy Story movies, though, it really is Andy's room.
Yeah.
It's so significant. Like, if they hadn't had that, obviously it did a lot of other heavy lifting, especially establishing Bo Peep
and stuff.
Yeah. But there's something about being in Andy's room that's like, this makes it really Toy Story.
That's true.
So that was necessary.
Bonnie, it always feels like, yep, that's the shorts.
Yeah.
That's where that part of the Toy Story canon goes.
Feels like the curtain call, because that's where they end up.
Right. And they should have ended there, I think.
But before we talk about endings,
sure.
And by the way,
spoilers.
This is whole spoiler city.
Yeah,
please.
We're going to be talking about the entire film.
Please watch the movie before you listen to this.
When is this going to come out?
Next Tuesday. So the
so
weekend.
They'll have some time to have watched it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you haven't watched it, last warning. We're getting into it.
So let's get the Tom Hanks part out of the way.
The best part, you mean?
He is good in it, and Woody
finally has stuff to do after all those shorts.
But it's because they kind of just cycle him back to his old ways a little bit.
This didn't feel too regressive for me, and I don't
think it was completely regressive, but it was a little bit, you have to admit.
They stuck to his core, which his core is still Andy. And that, I thought that was the smartest choice, because it's like, make that still his flaw, because that's kind of what he always has been stuck on Andy, and then this is...
Although, is it being stuck on... I mean, it is being stuck on Andy, but isn't it more just the idea of sticking to a child?
Yeah.
And his whole thing about loyalty, and that serves his purpose, and that kind of thing. But that's how...
But that still stems from his connection to Andy. The other toys don't have it as much as he does.
That's true. And he does talk a lot through the film about, this was when Andy was growing up. Mm-hmm. And so you're right.
He was heartbroken, and I like that we got to see that, because... I mean, again, we'll get to 3 as the ending versus 4.
Sure, yeah.
But, 3 ends and it's like, he's going to be fine, but reality sets in. He's not entirely fine.
What I feel about this is it feels like a fan fiction that we would have written.
Ooh,
that's how I feel about it.
At least it was us writing us.
That's what I mean, though. I think it's smart, and I think it tackles things that, everyone talks about with Toy Story. They'd be better off on their own. Depending on kids too much is eventually they're gonna get thrown away or whatever. Mm-hmm. It handles those themes and actually kind of tackles them in I'd say halfway. It reaches it halfway for me.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just talk about the ending straight out.
Okay.
He goes off with Bo Peep at the end.
Which I want to say, validating to me, because this is kind of what I was like. This is the only place they could go on our last episode,
right? And I was I was genuinely surprised. Well, no. By the time the moment came, I wasn't surprised.
Right.
But before the movie, I was like, "There's no way Woody's gonna leave at the end." But honestly, by the end, it was pretty clear he wasn't gonna leave. And when they showed the hands on the thing, I was like, okay, he's not gonna leave.
It took you till then to be certain, because honestly,
I was like, because because with these Pixar sequels, so many of them are they're enjoyable but forgettable.
Right.
So I'm like, they might just have Bo Peep go with them. Mm-hmm. Right. Just Bo Peep, I'll go with you, Woody, and then that's how it ends, and it resets. I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to expect.
No,
because it would be the safest, blandest. We'll keep making Toy Stories. This definitely means we're not having any more Toy Stories.
God,
we said that about 3.
We have said that, yes.
So I don't know, but I'm not going to jinx it.
I think the thing that with this movie does do is that it takes care of the problem we had with the shorts. Is that Woody has nothing to do. His character is done. So they've cleverly written him out, which sucks because Tom Hanks is the reason. I mean, I love the Toy Story movies even without him, but if there's a Toy Story 5 and Tom Hanks is in it, we're not going to cover it on this show.
Yeah, and I only really if we were not doing this and this got mediocre reviews, I don't know if I would have watched it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I would have on DVD, on
I'm sure
on
you would have
eventually. Yeah, eventually, but it would not have been something I would have run out to the theaters to see.
At this point, I still haven't missed a Pixar premiere.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there's been many years where I'm not sure if I'm gonna...
Wait, I guess we're excluding, ones when you were, a kid.
No, I saw those too.
You saw
not the night of.
But you've seen them all in theaters.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen every single one in theaters, actually. I mean, maybe... I guess I never really thought about it. That's a different conversation.
Well, did you see Cars 2 in theaters?
Okay, no. You saw Cars 2 and 3 in theaters?
Yeah, well, 2 was for a previous podcast, not this one.
Okay.
And then 3 was habit. I had seen them all, so.
Woof. Okay, yeah. I did not see all of them.
Incredibles 2 really made me I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But Toy Story 4, a lot better than that.
That's not saying a whole lot.
No, but
Okay, well, let me talk about what I liked about the movie. Yeah. And overall, I enjoyed the movie. Mm-hmm. It's a 3.2 out of 5 for me.
Ooh, still low. I mean, you did compare to fan fiction.
Okay. 3.4 out of 5, I'll say. Like, I'm gonna say that. Like, that's if you see that on a Yelp rating, you're like, okay, that's gonna be a pretty good.
So
restaurant.
what is a 5? Toy Story 1 is a 5.
Toy Story 1 is a 5.
Yeah, are 2 and 3 4? Are they 5?
Toy Story 3 for me is a 5. Toy Story 2 is a 4.
It's a low number for 2, but
well, we've talked about that.
Have.
I mean, I could give you throw me a pretty well beloved Pixar movie. Not like one of the greats, because that's gonna be a 5. What's something that you think was like a good
Ratatouille. Where would you put Ratatouille?
For me, it's really good, but I'd say 4.
Ratatouille is definitely better than this movie. I'll say that.
Oh, Ratatouille is miles ahead of this movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's even comparable, but
Yeah. I mean, it sucks. I mean, like, it's hard to compare sequels to an original creation.
Well, that's true, but 3 is. I love 3. 3 really hits.
I think you have I mean, not that I don't love 3 too, but
Sure.
I think you have the same reverence for 3 that I have for 2.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, but 3 tackles. I feel like 4 it tackles themes again that we've already kind of done in 3, and even
Arguably, that's how why I think 2 does 3's themes better too.
Okay, then I think likewise, then 4 should be worse.
Right?
Than
No,
that.
I agreed too.
But okay, well, what did I like? I liked Bo Peep a lot.
Bo Peep
is great.
The MVP of this
And-
movie, and honestly, Annie Potts
Annie Potts
outacted Tom Hanks like crazy.
Who killed it?
So good.
Like-
She's what makes the movie.
Yeah, Bo Peep is the best part. I love that she's in a skunk mobile.
Yes.
I think that's really smart.
Ridiculous.
I just love the idea of her being like this kind of vagabond, just driving around, living the good life.
Yeah, they really action girled her up.
Yeah,
which
they
was nice.
action girled her up, but in a way that was like just cool. Like it didn't feel like, what's the word? We're gonna do this to market to the kids.
It wasn't
like,
pandering.
It wasn't pandering. It was like, no, this is a very interesting direction for the character. She sounds great. It's like she never left. Admittedly, it's interesting because Bo Peep, aside from the first movie, really has no significance that much. But she's
not in 3 at all. She's only.
Well, that's true. She's not in 3 at all.
Yeah.
In 2, she's there like to say goodbye to Woody.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that so many people, I guess, had this attachment to her that when she was gone in 3, it was like, oh, that's so sad. Even though she's not that. She's pretty memorable in 1 just because she's fun and sassy. But it's not like when I was watching Toy Story 3, I was like, oh man, I wish Bo Peep was here. Like, it's missing Bo Peep's presence.
Yeah, for me it was more Wheezy, but Joe Ranft passed away.
But I agree with you there. I think Wheezy felt more integral.
Of course, and he wasn't even in the first movie.
Right, yeah.
He's only in 2. But I think, part of that though is that it makes sense for Bo Peep because she was always Molly's toy. She could never be that important in the Andy storyline.
Yeah, and she's like made of porcelain, which they kind of like totally shoved aside in this.
Definitely retcon that because she did not have like a difference between her legs and her dress before.
Yeah, they made her into like an action Barbie in this.
Yeah,
which is fine.
It worked. She's still porcelain on top, I guess.
The ramifications of her breaking her arm and just taping it back, and that's what she does. She says she's done that before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that implies.
Have you seen Toy Story 2? That happens to Woody.
But Woody is...
That happens to toys all the time.
But porcelain's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Like, do they glue? They didn't show... There was no sign that anything...
It was enough with the tape.
It's interesting.
They're alive too. They feel pain.
Yeah. Well, clearly she doesn't feel pain. Oh, but they do feel pain because he gets burned with the magnifying glass. Let's just jump into this.
Maybe porcelain.
I was gonna say things I like, but I'm just gonna talk about things that like. Okay, the toys in this are out of control. The rule set for how toys need to act. It's gotten cartoony at this point.
Yeah, okay. What I want to say about what really holds this movie back from like the other 3 in terms of this is like a feature, this is like a whole juicy potato of a movie, is a lot of the things that we saw in the shorts, where it just feels a little bit lighter or a little bit flakier. I'm describing a croissant for some reason.
More buttery,
But like the fact that like the second act of this movie, it's just like, oh, it's just a carnival, which is actually a really cool location.
Yeah.
But something about it doesn't feel. I mean, it's weird because the first movie was obviously just next door and then the Pizza Planet restaurant.
Yeah.
So that's much smaller in scale. But something about this, it feels shorter, and I think it's the way things happen so quickly. Like, Woody jumping out and he's like, I'll just walk 5 miles.
Yeah, and then
whoa.
Back in like 1, like leaving him at a gas station was like, he'll never get back to his own.
Yeah,
like, what will he do?
In 4's rules, he would have been like, we're fine, it's this way.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of funny too, because when I watched the trailer, I was like, how the hell is Woody gonna get back? But he's like, hey, Ham, how far? Hey, yeah, he's 5 miles ahead. So it's like, okay,
I can make that.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. But to be fair, he's an old toy. He's lived a long time.
The first time
he's lived for 60 years apparently.
The first Toy Story was his first time outside of the house, so that makes sense.
Or was it?
Well, essentially, it was his first time being lost.
Yeah.
If nothing else. He's been lost so many times, he knows how to get back.
Right. I don't know, the toys, like...
Like, at this point, he could find Bonnie's house again if he has second thoughts.
That's true. Yeah, I mean...
Toy Story 5. Hey, guys! Woody!
Or the next Toy Story short.
Yeah, it'll be him
Hawaiian
visiting.
Vacation 2. It's Woody and Bo come back to visit.
Which would be, like, the thing... There's actually a lot of things that this movie does really well in terms of consequences. And so, if they do that, God, that's awful. Because, like... The reason Woody leaving matters is because he knows he'll never see them again.
Yeah.
It has to be that. Unless it's like, okay, obviously Bo Peep situation where 9 years later they maybe see each other again. Can't do, but it would never be the whole... Anyway, getting away from me. But like, stuff like Woody giving up his voice box.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, like, I didn't like it, but I loved how... Like, for Woody, but I loved how it was such a real sacrifice. That he gave something up for
another toy,
and still kind of what he believed in, because it was not only for Forky and thus Bonnie, was for Gabby too.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the movie has this whole approach of like a toy. Like he and Bo are better off being on their own.
Do you disagree?
I think I agree. Actually,
yeah,
I agree that. Like, all toys will eventually be thrown away. Or given away, or abandoned, or whatever. It happened to Jessie. It'll happen. It almost happened again. It'll happen again and again. Bonnie will grow up. Okay, well, here's... I have so many thoughts. What am I talking about right now? I'm talking about consequences. Or, like, of a toy's life. I think that all toys should be free. Like, I think that's the happiest they're gonna be.
Yeah. Well, it's...
Because, like... But, so him giving Gabby... Like, when Gaby-Gab was abandoned by the first girl, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like,
yeah.
And then, that's like... Because that's a reality. Like, she's an outdated toy, and there's a limited appeal there. She's not the flashy new toy. I thought she was gonna go turn like hard, like bad.
Go Lotso
or something. I think it's more interesting though that they did it, and I think they still made her sympathetic.
Yeah.
I don't think we need another like I'm a bad toy.
Honestly, I will say I think Lotso is the least interesting of the Toy Story villains. I think Gabby's a little bit more interesting, but she is also a less good version of the Prospector.
I actually like Lotso a lot.
I do like Lotso, but there's not a lot of depth there. Like, immediately he shows up and he's like, I'm the bad guy!
Yeah, well, they do that in this a little bit, too.
I mean, yeah, it's true, but the fact that she becomes a good guy...
She's very sympathetic, which I thought was a good idea, because the last two villains were very straight, I'm a bad guy.
Well, I would say Stinky Pete is pretty sympathetic until he turns into a total dick.
He's pretty bad.
I guess what it is for me is, like, I really understand his motivation. Like... Imagine just being there on the shelf. Like, that's so sad that of course it would turn you twisted.
Okay, wait, Stinky Pete. He wanted to be
He
in
was
the museum.
never played with.
Right.
The only reason he wanted to be in the museum is because he never got to experience that child's love. Going back to what you were saying about how you think it's best for the toys to be free.
Yeah.
I think the diciest thing about that and the whole Toy Story series is with each sequel, the metaphor for what the relationship between a toy and a kid really gets mixed up.
Yeah.
Because in the first one, it's clearly like the toy is a metaphor for a parent watching a kid grow up, and it's kind of the same for number 2.
Yeah.
But by 3, it's sort of like
it's like a drug.
No, that or it's like a sexual partner, a romantic partner. It's like even playtime is like sex to them.
It's so enjoyable to them. It is like a drug.
And the way
I think drug is a better metaphor than saying like a sex because they're kids, but
I don't know, but well, obviously for that reason.
Yeah.
But like even the way Woody talks about Andy in this movie, it's like an ex he can't get over.
Yeah.
And I think it's so sexual relationship. Playtime is a little weird and sexual.
Just like it just feels good. Like, that's what's like. They want that playtime. Like it's not enough. It's more selfish than parenting. Parenting is about like, you want your child to grow up and be the best they can be, even if they like become distant from you. That's the thing. But Woody, like when he's in the closet, like just watching them, he's bitter.
He's horny for that playtime.
He's bitter. He wants to play, and like he's not fully happy, and that's why the decision for him at the end of this movie is so easy, because he's like, well, see, if Bonnie loved Woody. Like
he wouldn't leave.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why, even though this ending is interesting, it's actually not that adventurous. They've set it up very easily for him to leave. Like if it was like, oh, Woody is played with a lot. Oh, here's Bo, and then he goes to Bo, even though like Bonnie loves him as a toy, but Bonnie doesn't give a shit about.
They
Woody.
did make it the easy choice. The only thing Woody is really letting go of is the other toys.
Right.
He likes Bonnie, but he never. I mean, it wasn't Andy. It never will be. And I think that's actually the biggest, most important thing if you look at the overall Toy Story is how the relationship, what that means, changes between the first 2 movies and the last 2 movies. Because the last 2, it really does feel like it's a romance thing. It's like, this is my partner.
Yeah.
First 2 movies, it's like, this is my kid.
Yeah.
And I think both are really interesting. We've gotten some good movies out of them.
I think that's true. I think they're both interesting.
But mixing them up kind of fucks things over.
It makes the whole theme strange. I think that 3 and 4's theme is what everyone else thinks about. Like when they're like, I'm clever. Let me really analyze the Toy Story films like us. Like let's really break it down. That's what people always go like. It's like a drug to them. And then they really dive into it. And so if that's the theme we're going with, then all toys should be free. Like the sandbox toys where they're just like, hey, like kids will always, it's like, come here, we'll be played with whenever we feel like it. Like her, Bo Peep gets played with, like at that playground, whenever she feels like it.
You're going strong for toy polyamory right now.
Yeah.
Some toys just want that very special relationship.
That's my bird clock.
Yes, SungWon is being very kind and letting us record at his place.
In my aviary.
Yes.
But you good?
Aviary of clocks.
Okay.
Which would have been right at home in the Granny's antique shop.
Yeah. Going back to locations, I think the carnival is an interesting location, but they're barely there.
We don't experience
You only
the carnival.
experience kind of like the bottom of or tops of rides.
Yeah.
And like maybe the inside of one booth. The antique shop was more interesting. I
Much
love
better
the idea of like the club inside the
pinball machine. Yeah, that was cool.
That was really clever. There's like
again kind of a lesser version of the
Toy
vending
Story
machine.
3, yeah. But at this point, that's what we have to settle for: is lesser versions of things that they've already done really well.
There were still new things that were nice and clever.
Like
the ventriloquist dolls were neat. They weren't very interesting, but
were they? I mean, I don't know. It feel like creepy toys. We did Big Baby in 3. We did Baby Face in 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I liked them. I think they were effective. But are they better versions of 1 and 3.
No, I mean, I don't think there's a
I think
single
Big Baby
thing.
is still the scariest thing by far.
Yeah.
So that's isn't that what it's called?
No, it is.
Yeah,
It's
Big
just
Baby.
funny.
So like Big Baby, the ventriloquist dummies just felt like a lesser version of Big Baby.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of anything in this movie except the ending, which surprised me.
Yeah.
That makes me go, that was a better version of stuff that they already covered in 1, 2, and 3 or the shorts.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
The other thing is Forky, because we never saw anything like him before.
That's true, but that also kind of dives into the whole...
It does. It's weird how the sequels get really fan theory-ish.
Yes.
And that kind of supports your and your theory about it being like fan fiction.
Yes.
And I guess
This all felt like fanfics. Like, what happened to Bo? Like, listen, if I were a huge Toy Story fan and I read this fanfic, this would have been the best fanfic I ever read.
I mean,
Like,
you're not wrong.
It would be stellar fan fiction. Did it need... Well, that's a whole conversation we'll have later,
We'll
I guess. Did,
we'll
it,
get
did it
there.
need to be made into a movie? The whole Forky thing...
See, Forky is actually super interesting, even if it is in that kind of fan theory way. But I think the problem is that they just kind of like solve his arc in Act 1, basically. Before they get to the carnival, he's like, he explains how Bonnie's important, and then Forky's just done. He's just a prop.
Forky could have been a short.
Forky definitely should have been a short.
Forky... It's like they introduce this whole... Oh, a fork can be a toy... And then they solve it, like you said, immediately. And then Forky just becomes a hostage.
Yeah.
And that's it. It was like 2 different weird movies. Like, that's why I'm like, besides the ending of this movie, Forky could have been one pretty, like a goofy short. I think it could have been like a 5-minute short.
Agreed.
And then Bo Peep would have been like a 30-minute special if Woody had not left at the end. But because Woody leaves at the end, it can't be just its own
A special. Yeah, it has to be its own movie.
But
And I think that's kind of like the underlying issue is like, again, the metaphor's a little mixed up. We've ruined that by mixing it in the last 3 movies.
yeah.
And then, yeah, the beginning is very... It feels honestly like a Simpsons episode where Act 1 is one thing,
right.
and then we completely...
And then it resolves and it turns into the next thing.
Yeah, which sometimes can be really fun in a Simpsons episode.
But in a full-length movie
It's
and
weird.
a sequel to a beloved franchise, I don't think
it's like even in the Simpsons movie, it's all about the pig until they're outside the dome.
Right.
That's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's like you would hope that Forky would be instrumental to Woody's arc, but he's not.
No, he's not. He's just there to...
I mean, I'm glad it's Bo Peep because she's a better character.
Right.
But
Speaking of other characters, none of the characters have anything to do.
I have mixed feelings on that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, they get
It's the same problem with 3.
They get the shaft.
Yeah.
And worse than 3. Way worse than 3.
They're
not even around.
Yeah, they just stay in the RV the entire movie.
Jesse pops a tire. And it's Jesse.
Jesse should have left.
Jesse should have, yeah.
Jesse should have been
With Woody.
with Woody and Buzz. Also, Buzz.
Well, before we get to, because we have a whole thing to talk about Buzz.
Okay.
I don't think, did we finish, I don't even think we got into our deep into our Tom Hanks performance talk.
Yeah, but that's because it was good. I mean, it was good, but Annie Potts was so much better.
Annie Potts was
And I don't.
so much better.
It's not fair to Tom Hanks because Woody.
He didn't have as much to do as
He
Annie
doesn't have
Potts.
that much to do.
No, he did have a lot more to do than, again, the shorts, which is not saying anything.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with it.
But there was a lot of, like, moments where I'm like, oh, Tom Hanks is really acting here.
Oh, of course.
And it was so good to see that. Like, just the way when he reacts to Forky, like, falling apart and just
Yeah.
being like, we're good, or I'm fine. Or when he's thrown in the closet the first time, the way he plays that off.
Yeah.
About, like, he's really pissed off, but he doesn't want to show it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's all
I
coming...
do like when they're walking back to the RV the first time.
Yeah.
He does has a lot of good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Tom Hanks brings his A game to the character.
My favorite Hanks has always been frustrated Hanks. And
Yeah.
we get a lot of that in this, at least the first half of this one. And
Yeah.
that was great to see.
Right.
He still sounds way older than Woody.
Well, they also.
Well, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of Tom Hanks being the performance of this character, we can presume, hopefully, not that I don't want to see Tom Hanks do more work, but that this is the end for his character. Woody is done after this.
Right.
in that way, do you think this is a good send-off to this character? Not comparing it to the last one, of course.
Okay, if it just... Not compare... Because that's the whole thing I want to talk about. I think it's... I don't know. I like I like it. I like this send-off. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it is the better send-off.
I don't think it is compared to 3, but again, let's talk about Buzz.
Okay, first we'll talk about Buzz. Buzz is... Oh, go ahead.
Maybe controversial opinion.
Yeah.
Buzz is better in this movie than he is in 3.
That's because Buzz is barely in 3 and then he's Spanish.
Yeah. Not that being Spanish is the problem.
No, that's not what I meant. Spanish Buzz is way more interesting than Buzz.
Yeah.
Like...
But at the same time, he's not even interesting because he's just a bunch of stereotypes and action-y guy.
I guess that's true. Buzz is really boring, isn't
Buzz,
he?
That's the thing. Buzz is awesome in the first movie.
Buzz is awesome. In the second movie, he's
pretty funny.
That's the perfect balance of post-1 Buzz is 2.
Yeah. I buy his connection to Woody in 2.
Yeah.
Honestly, when he says goodbye to Woody in this movie, I'm kind of like, yeah, I guess they're best friends.
Yeah, I get kind of, yeah.
By the end of 2, I still believe that.
Yeah.
But 3, they don't even really interact.
They barely interact. Like, actually, there's the part where Woody's like, all right, I'm going to go back to Andy's. And they're like, all right, bye, Woody.
Yeah.
Like, it feels very, like...
It's forced now.
It feels forced.
Because that's what the first movie was.
Yeah, they want you to be like, oh, man, Woody and Buzz.
Like, honestly, when he hugged Jesse out, that's what made me feel more of a thing than him saying goodbye to Buzz.
Yeah.
I do like that Buzz, recognized that he, Bonnie's going to be fine. That was a nice thing.
That was a nice thing. Buzz is too stupid in this movie. They gave him one kind of... They basically were like, here's the joke for Buzz.
Yeah.
And we're going to have him be that the whole movie. And that's going to be his entire... That's not... Like, imagine if 2 was that.
That would be bad. I mean, this is a worse version of 2. Again, this movie is a worse version of everything we've seen before.
Right.
But... he's still way better than 3. I'll give that to Buzz. But yeah, he has... It's the same kind of problem with
pressing the
Woody.
button over and over, being like, tell me what to do. And then,
That's the thing. Buzz always has a gimmick.
Yeah.
This was a pretty limited gimmick. I do like you can squeeze out an arc, though, because at the very end, he stops listening to his inner voice and becomes his inner voice by shouting the best laugh in the movie.
It was funny, yeah.
But it also works because he's like, fuck it, I'm going to listen to myself.
Yeah.
And he just...
Going back to our Toy Story show thing, or shorts or show, like him listening to his inner voice, that would be an episode of the show. Mm. Like, oh, that's so funny. Like, that's the gimmick for this episode. To have him be that's what's directing him for 80% of the film.
There is a thematic cohesion to this movie, though. It's a little messy plot-wise, but Buzz has to learn to trust his inner voice. So does Woody. Forky does that too. It wraps up a little too early.
Yeah.
Gabby wants to get her voice back. There is this thematic connection, and I do really think that's interesting. But I mean, it's just the problem is when you compare it to the first 3, it's just in a completely different minor league.
Gabby's arc for me doesn't really work. It just doesn't work. She is basically rewarded for her bad behavior and unhealthy obsession. The scene where she's doing the tea party. I love the scene conceptually, but because it's so scary and so sad.
It would have been really neat to see a toy like that become a killer toy.
Yeah, oh man, in a different movie, that would be you would feel so sad and so scared of that toy.
Yeah.
But then at the end,
that was the safe choice for them.
It was very safe.
The Woody ending obviously was the more interesting thing, which is better that they did that. Yeah. Gabby, there's a lot I do like about Gabby. Again, I think she has more depth than Lotso. Lotso is likable.
Gabby is more sympathetic, and I think that's a good choice.
Yeah, Gabby...
But I feel like...
There's a part...
Just give... Oh, go ahead.
There is a part of me that wishes they had pushed her more into more villainous. She lets off the hook pretty easily.
Very easily. It's very safe. It's very cotton candy. Like, let's all be friends, which is fine. But she wants to rip out his voice box.
That really made me cringe when they were doing that.
Like, when she pulls it, like, let me see your voice box. I'm like, Jesus.
Shit.
Like, she will get abandoned again, and then it'll be worse than before.
Oh my God.
It'll be because now she's felt the love of a child, like, playing with her. Like, she will, if she ever goes, she's gonna go she will be the next Lotso one day. Like, she's guaranteed to be, based on.
I don't necessarily agree, because she wasn't abandoned before. She was never played with. This is like, again, this is sort of like the lesson you have to learn when it's like, oh, you got your heart broken once.
Yeah.
If you love again, then you can trust that you will have the chance to love again afterward. That's the whole thing about getting off the shelf.
Yeah.
You gotta try. I don't think she's that bad. Although, going back to that scene where she was rehearsing the tea stuff, I love how they just had Tony Hale channel his Veep character for a second. He's like, yes, your hair looks perfect, or something like that.
Yeah. Let's see, new characters. Key and Peele, they're cute.
I think I didn't know it at the time, but I think I know now why when I saw them coming in, like, the trailers. I was like, there's something about these characters that I just don't like.
They are like Illumination or DreamWorks characters put into a Toy Story.
A little
movie.
bit, yeah, a little bit.
And like I like Key and Peele a lot. I think they're
fantastic.
They have a very funny chemistry and stuff. But in this movie, they really just feel like I think Toy Story characters are already funny. So to be like, here's the comic relief.
Yeah.
This is like, these are the comic relief guys, and you're going to laugh at every one of those jokes. I don't think I really laughed at any of their
maybe
moments.
One or two line readings, but it wasn't like they did the same joke 3 times right in a row when they were like, let's do the plush and rush.
Yeah.
It's like, we're really doing this fantasy sequence three times.
Yeah.
Like, going all the way back to Up, when they have that fantasy sequence where he just drops Russell on a building.
Yeah.
Hilarious, because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Kind of felt weird because there was nothing like that in the rest of the movie.
Right.
But it worked because it was like so unexpected and once.
Sure, yeah.
They did this thing 3 times,
Yeah.
and then a weird, even bigger fantasy sequence at the end that was so much worse.
Right.
And definitely right out of that Illumination school of thought.
Yeah, it felt very... Oh, a little Sophie cameo in the episode.
It's Dragon.
Dragon.
The 1 second villain.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like when they had Sid's dog. That was like a real thing. That was a thing.
Yeah, I just felt bad for that cat.
Yeah.
That cat was tormented by those toys. The toys get away with a lot. There was Duke Kaboom. You know,
Keanu Reeves was in this movie.
He was
and I will always value this movie for bringing together the 2 nicest guys in Hollywood.
That's true. He was fun. Another character that was fine.
He had another like weird, let's just give him a fantasy-ish backstory and just do this cutaway stuff that really doesn't feel at home in the Toy Story universe.
It doesn't, no.
Like the Woody's Dream in 2 and obviously the play sequences, they work great because they're
very separate.
Well, and it's at the very least it's coming out of the main character's projections.
Sure.
This is a guy that's barely in the movie.
Yeah, and you get like fantasy sequences.
Like even going back to 3 when we saw Lotso's backstory from the clown dude, it just felt like this is so shoved in our face. We're not.
I actually really liked that.
It's not a bad sequence, but again,
because that's not a fantasy sequence. That's just a retelling.
No,
Would you say that Jesse's whole thing?
Okay, Jesse's thing
that's
is really good.
There's a difference between this is a flashback retell, and this is like a what if hilarious scenario.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a difference between the Key and Peele toys and even Duke Kaboom. Huge. But I think it's just like, with Jesse's backstory. Yeah. That's coming out of Jesse, who is built up so much by the time we get to that part of the movie.
Sure.
With Chuckles in Toy Story 3, we just met the guy.
Right.
Granted, Lotso is a character we've known a little bit.
Yeah.
But because we're not getting that, it's like, it's just distanced enough that it feels like, oh, this is kind of weird. It's a good thing to see, but that
I
distance...
didn't mind it because the joke, obviously, that Chuckles has a deep voice and it's like a gravelly voice thing. I think maybe it would have been more... I could see that it could be more interesting or effective if Lotso himself told the story.
Or even if there was a way to like, know Chuckles before... Like, it just, like, he's here there and then immediately drops some exposition on him.
I guess so.
And this... like, Dukes, it was a joke.
Right.
As opposed to Lotso, where it was, like, serious.
Yeah.
But...
We're talking too much about Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
So Toy Story 4, let's talk about... Do we want to talk about ending now?
I have a couple... Let's talk a little bit more about the rest of the, like, new characters, one thing. Which... My last thought on the Key and Peele toys, it's like, the other thing I don't like about them is, like, oh, they're taking the place of our actual cast.
Yeah,
like, and which may be a good thing, because there's not a lot they could have really... maybe could have done at this point, but it still sucks. It's like, we have Rex and Ham. They're endless fun.
Yeah, and they want, like, the best part about, not best part, what I love about Toy Story 2 is that the whole cast gets to go with Buzz, and they all get, it's so funny.
That's
something that
cast.
3 is missing, and this definitely, let's replace, I mean, I get Mr. Potato Head, it's very sad they couldn't.
Yeah, and you can really feel that they're just using voice library shit.
Reynolds,
yeah.
But Rex and Ham are great characters, and I think deserved to. And Jesse
got nothing.
Yeah, Jesse, Rex, and Ham could have just as easily been replacements for even like those 3 characters. Actually, that's 3 characters we could have just swapped out.
Because like it sucks that you know, obviously Don Rickles has passed before this movie was able to, you know, be recorded. But it sucks that it feels like the rest of the toys have the exact same treatment.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like Wallace Shawn was dead and they were just using the library.
Right.
And it's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
And, like, apparently Jeff Pigeon had a credit in this as the aliens. They must have been in the flashback sequence, but they weren't in here at all.
Well, they were there.
I don't remember them being
They're in the
there.
bed, like the Bonnie Rooms part.
Oh, okay. They just didn't make it on the trip, perhaps.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Or maybe they were... I don't know. They barely are around.
I liked Billy Goat Gruff having a little bit more of a
Yeah,
character.
that was cute.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought... What was it? McGiggles? The little
Polly Pocket thing?
Yeah, I was like, that's cute. I liked it better when it was Good Cop, Bad Cop in the Lego Movie.
Oh, I guess. They didn't... That gimmick wasn't that...
No, but like that gag where like she turned her head was almost exactly the same.
I do... The gag of her going down the stairs and like...
That was amazing.
That was a great gag.
Like that's why... Like that's a reason enough to have the character.
Yeah, like... Otherwise, the character was fine. I think I like her more than, say, the Key and Peele characters.
Oh, definitely.
I do like how small she is, and I think that's funny.
That's a good mix-up. The Skunkmobile was cool.
Yeah.
Were there any other... We talked about Duke... Were there any other notable new toys? There wasn't a lot to say about Forky either. I guess that... Yeah, it's weird that they're at the carnival and the antique shop, but we don't meet that many new people.
And it never feels... as well, I think I was gonna... Did I talk about this before? It never feels like as fully realized as some of the locations in the previous ones.
No, it does not.
Like Toy Story 2, like Alice Toy Barn, Toy Story 3, the daycare. You really feel like you're like the presence of those locations.
Yeah, I mean, you meet some new toys.
You're barely there. Antique shop, you kind of get a sense, but there's not a whole lot you can do because the grandma is always there.
Yeah.
That you can't have a full-blown, like...
Like, they never were there when it was closed. That would have been really interesting to see.
Right.
I guess they were at the very, very beginning.
Yeah. But it's always them zipping around behind the backs of the humans, so they can never, like, be there that long.
Which is crazy how much they move in this movie.
They move... way too much in this movie. It's like a full baby carriage and pulling them or whatever, and there's like They're like down zip lines in broad daylight. They're running around tents and stuff.
That's the other thing that makes this movie just feel too light by comparison. Is like, and even 3 gets a little bit there with the way they move around a lot, but it's just so extra cartoony. Things happen so fast. Like every time they get in the skunk, it's like,
yeah.
When in like the first 2-3 movies, it's like you really built up to that action moments.
Yeah.
It's so like I don't want to compare it to like the worst garbage of like kids movies, but it's like it's so loud and fast and zippy.
It's like fast travel in a video game.
Yeah.
It's like we gotta get him to point A, point B. Hey, put him in a skunkmobile. Like in 2, like the reason why, like the set piece is them driving the car at the end. That's like a big deal. And you could argue that's a pretty cartoony.
But, it is. It absolutely is.
But it's still done in a way that's like, this is like hard. Yeah. And this is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Like,
it doesn't take 5 seconds. And honestly, the animation in this movie is still gorgeous.
Oh, of course.
Watching everything.
Fucking dust particles in the air. Fucking textures of the toys.
Just the way like both people like moves her shit, the cat, everything is just fun to look at. And that's always going to be true for a Toy Story movie.
Or a Pixar movie, really.
So, endings.
So, let me just say, if you Toy Story 3, Andy's like, hey, Bonnie, take good care. He's the best cowboy around. Make sure you it's like a big moment, right? This is Andy passing Woody down to Bonnie. Bonnie doesn't give a shit about Woody, and technically forgets she will never notice he's gone.
Yeah.
She technically lost him at a carnival. Like that's how
the Bonnie storyline ends.
That's how Bonnie's storyline with Woody ends. Is that this one guy gave me this toy, but these other toys I like better. Oh, did I get a toy from that guy? Oh, cowboy toy? I don't know.
His favorite one.
His favorite childhood toy, which is realistic.
No,
that's what would happen if you gave your most treasured childhood toy to a kid. They'd be like, "Oh, that's cool," and then just forget about it.
That actually, there's a lot of stuff that really works about this movie. Of course, Woody is not going to be her favorite. She's going to way prefer Jessie.
Of course.
It's just like it makes perfect sense.
It makes like I said, there's a lot of this movie is like that makes sense for if like we were writing this. Like,
yes, that's true, but like if Woody had been her favorite, that would have been weird. It's like she's a little girl.
I'm not saying that he should have been, but she plays with literally every other toy. Again, it makes it so it's much easier for him to leave at the end. But it really dampens the ending of 3.
It is crazy that she never plays with him once in this movie. We never see that outside of the kind of like
especially in 3 she's so excited about him
because that's my cowboy doll. Yeah,
and like she's like playing with him and blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's again, kids are fickle. It's a realistic portrayal, I guess, of kids that they're gonna move on to the next thing. Here's Forky. I like Forky now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Andy with Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, but Andy still loves Woody.
Of course he does.
And so here it's just like, I don't know.
There is a lot of really cool stuff and a lot of stuff that makes like not to go into fan theory-ish detail or fanfic-y territory, but it like makes it's a perfect evolution of the characters. But when you think about Woody and like the thing that he had to most get over, that was 3.
Yeah.
Him letting go of Andy
was the perfect ending.
And that was something that you never could have imagined him doing.
Right. 4 is just him doing that again, but more with all children.
With all children, yeah, and it's weirder and it's less. It's not as hard as you were saying, and it's just like, I guess this is where Woody was always going from the first movie.
And this is where I think all toys will be going, unless they get thrown in the dumpster, unless they get thrown in the junkyard.
Well, at least there'll be a lot of nice sporks in there for them.
Yeah, that's true. Which that whole thing makes, in terms of the rules. Oh, he like tries to run to the trash can, but only when she happens to not be looking.
Obviously with the toys, there's some extra weird magic logic. Because even
Buzz Lightyear,
he didn't think he was a toy. He still played along.
I just don't think there's enough.
Oh, here we go.
Oh man. Okay.
You're gonna write Toy Story 5 and fix it.
You know, we could do it. We could write a Toy Story 5.
Well, I mean, if it took like 16 people to write this.
Yeah, I think we could do a Toy Story 5. But yeah, I mean, just okay. Toy Story 3, like, so long, partner. Like, Andy's like, all right, my toy's he's with a better place with a new kid. She's gonna love this toy as much as I did. Oh no, my toy ends up being a weird hobo. That's how my beloved childhood toy.
And like the end of the third movie still works enough with the original metaphor with the relationship because you do watch your kid leave.
Yes.
But you also know that you can find love again.
Yes.
This is just I think the main problem is that like the love in Toy Story movies has always been between a toy and a kid.
Yeah.
This is the first time outside of like weird jokes with Bo Peep and Jessie and Buzz and Woody. Oh, and I actually wish it was those pairings.
Yeah.
That like toys fall in love with each other. And that like the whole message of 3 is we belong together. They had that Oscar-winning Randy Newman song about it, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And like that the love they had was like being there for each other, which was huge. It doesn't, and like this is a shitty thing to say because it makes me like a real control freak about this thing that I don't own.
Sure.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
And of course, like I'm thrilled that lots of people and kids especially are going to enjoy Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
But it bothers me that it doesn't really fit with the first 3.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a obnoxious high-end complaint.
Who cares? That's the whole point. People listening to this podcast are listening for that. They're not going to listen to it. Man, it was great. Now, if it was great...
Sometimes, I mean, that was the first 3 of these.
True. But we still broke it down.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with expecting more from
it's weird because
fiction that you consume.
From the beginning of this, like them announcing 4, we expected the very least.
Sure.
And part of that is just like a lot of our opinions and just informed things about movies and stories in general.
Yeah.
It's like going after 3, is that ever a good idea?
No.
Unless
it still wasn't.
No, it still wasn't. And it's like, this is a pretty solid movie. There's a lot of really good stuff. It's very entertaining.
Sure.
Again, I stand by it's the best Pixar sequel that isn't one of the other Toy Story sequels. It's better than Monsters U. It's better than the Cars sequels.
It's not saying a lot, though.
It's better than Finding Dory, and it's my God, it's so much better than Incredibles 2. Like it doesn't really regress any of the characters too much, but yeah, it's just unfortunate, and it's part of living in this capitalist world, and you got to get money and franchise. But like, it was impossible to stick the landing of 3. It had been like 10 years since the last 2.
Yeah, that
was crazy, and they did it, and it was fucking nearly flawless.
Yep. This one, it just messes it up a little bit. I mean, it's not even that it's bad. It's just like we finished, and then there's a little extra. Yeah, that was already the shorts, but those were fine because those were shorts. Yeah, they didn't. But now that we have a film, this is the note we have to end off on. Which is not a bad note when you just compare it. It's not a bad note, but it's not even close to 3. It's really tough because like Toy Story 1 is a perfect ending. You don't have to follow that up. Yep. Toy Story 2, honestly, perfect ending. You didn't have to follow that up. 3, unbelievably, like, this is the most ending a movie has ever had. Yeah. 4 is it's a good ending. If 4 had come, like, emotionally, if that had come before 3, would have worked a lot better. But it just doesn't top that emotion in 3. I don't think it would have worked without 3. I mean, no, it wouldn't have because of the specificity of the story. But it's like you're on like going from 1. It's like we're on high,
high. It's not like. It just
I
goes
don't know if
down.
I'd say this is high. I'd say for me it's like high.
Mid.
Pretty good. It sticks to it's a pretty good ending.
And it's weird too because like you think of. I like to think of like the beginning and closing images of movies. Like the first movie opens on the wallpaper. We're in Woody's or in Andy's room.
Right.
Makes perfect sense. And it ends. The first movie, we're going out. We see the house.
And then
we do a zoom in.
A little
and
giggle at the end.
That's cute. The second movie, very similar. We start in space. That's the toys or the video game sequence. But then it ends on. It's Wheezy actually, but it's like we're in home.
Right.
It's like Woody. He's standing on the windowsill.
Yeah.
He's a toy.
Yeah.
3, it opens up. It's another fantasy sequence, but we're in Andy's room again, and then the last shot is him in the house.
Yeah.
Or at the on the deck saying goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Yeah.
And that's like that's Toy Story.
Right.
The first shot of this, it's like the house actually in the storm. That really works because this is what's this toy gonna do in this? The last shot of this is like Woody and Bo Peep are on top of a carnival thing, and we're zooming out, and then it goes up to the moon. Like, this is a Toy Story?
Yeah.
This is not about toys anymore. This is about, like, the Lawn Gnome movie.
Yeah.
Or Trolls, or, like, the secret little living things that exist when we're not paying attention. It's not specifically toys anymore.
Right.
Which, again, that's a movie, but it's just...
It's not the ending that...
We're just beating the same point now.
Basically, not as good ending as 3.
Yeah.
But boy is it not.
It's only looking really unfavorable when you think of 3.
Have I soured your feelings on this movie a bit?
I still think there's a lot to like about this.
What do you give this out of, let's say, 10?
I mean, that's tough. It's too soon to tell.
Okay.
I think that if you like Toy Story, you're gonna like this movie.
Of course. Yes. I mean...
There's so much to enjoy.
I like it.
It's just...
fine. I don't regret watching it. That's a lot these days with some animated movies to say. I did not regret watching it. I think it does some fun stuff. I think it suffers from a lot of Pixar sequels of like, let's have a lot of crazy antics and... It's like
the same...
I was saying to Anne-Marie and my wife... I don't think I'll remember 90% of this movie. I'll remember how it ends, but I probably won't remember any of it.
It's because the previous films, especially, you remember the in between stuff.
Sure.
The joke, and that was the thing we said right before we were starting recording. I was pointing out like there's a lot of really funny stuff in this movie. There's some laugh out loud moments. But so much of it is like, that's cute. That's clever.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
But you compare that to 2, which I think is the funniest of them all. You're laughing out loud like every 5 seconds. It's hilarious.
Right.
And you cry your eyes out when Jesse's song comes up. My God.
Yeah.
There's like moments where I got like, I felt it in this movie, but it didn't take me to that point where it was
what's
like...
funny is for me, I felt it the most... at the beginning, when like back where we're in OG Toy Story universe, where he's like saying bye to Bo in the box. That's what got me actually emotional.
I think at that point I was just too excited because then I was like, he's definitely gonna stay with Bo. That's what I could tell.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird. Like I think I was more emotional when Gabby went with the girl than when Woody left.
I was not really emotional, but you know why. I was not that emotional when Gabby left with the girl. I was
like, which is fair. I get that.
That's sweet. But like I was like, that's the safest thing they could have done with this. Not that I think there's a better thing, because I didn't want her to go full villain.
Yeah. Like, I think there is a lot of... There's a lot that's really under the surface that is clever here. I think there is a nice thematic cohesion with, like, listening to your inner voice or choosing your inner voice and how that plays in cosmetically with Woody's actual voice box. That's really neat. But it's more neat than I'm crying at the end of this movie.
Right.
And that's unfortunate because that's what Toy Story has always managed to do.
Yeah.
This is the first time it didn't. So, our pitch for Toy Story 5.
Oh boy.
Who's our main character? It's gotta be Woody.
No, Woody's
gotta
done.
be Woody.
It's Woody's done. Oh my god. If they did a Toy Story 5 where Woody was the main character at this point, it'd have to be Jessie.
Jessie would be the best choice.
Jessie would have to be the main character.
Definitely wouldn't be Buzz.
She was already great in Toy Story of Terror.
That was such a good...
Buzz is definitely never going to be the main character. They're just going to make him an idiot in every movie he's in. So it's got to be Jessie. But at this point, there's nothing. What ground are they going to cover? They already gave her some cool development in Toy Story of Terror.
No, the only way, again, if they're going to do any sort of continuation, shorts are the way to go. And focus on the other, let's see Ham's 6-minute story for him.
Yeah.
Let's see Slinky, maybe not Slinky Dogs, because voice actors long time.
Also, it's Slinky Dog. What do you do with Slinky
That's true.
Dog? Yeah.
Well, he misses his good pal Woody.
Yeah, that's right. Did he say bye to Slinky?
Slinky was in the mob of people that hugged him. And it's like, that's so, that was the other thing at the very end of the movie. It was like, they're making the parents wait an absurdly long time, and it still felt like we rushed the goodbyes.
Yeah, there's all right, group hug. Bye, Jessie. Here's this, which I did like that he gave her this sheriff badge.
That was really nice.
That was great. And then, all right, Buzz, let's have a kind of weirdly too long hug that they didn't really earn.
And it sucks because I want them to have that, but this movie and 3, it didn't bring it. 2 works because they got separated, and Buzz's whole goal is we gotta stop that.
Yes.
They're at the end. They're best buds. Mm-hmm. They got their girlfriends now.
Yeah.
It's great, and then it's do we? I guess we talk sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toy Story 5. I hope it doesn't happen.
How it's going to.
I'm sure it will.
Oh my god, they can't keep making endings that are slightly worse, not slightly, just worse than the previous endings. This was already, this is the lowest it could go where I'd still be okay with it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is pretty good. This is a good ending. It's okay, not a good, it's a pretty good ending. They cannot, if they could do another one, it'll just be worse and worse and worse. Unless they do full Toy Revolution.
I mean, I wouldn't hate to see a movie where it's basically Chucky in the Toy Story universe.
Or Small Soldiers or something.
But we already have Small Soldiers for that.
Yeah, but I want the toys to rise up and, you know what? Just take over the humans.
Right, well, we're getting definitely fanficky with our Toy Story 5 here.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you think. Did you think Toy Story 4 was the best of the sequels?
Are
you completely wrong about that?
You are absolutely wrong about that.
Are we being too hard on it? Maybe it's not the best, but
absolutely.
Is it? Yeah. Is it really? Let us know what you think. Get in touch. Tweet us at TomHanksPod. Or send us an email, tomhankspod@gmail.com. And if you want to get in touch with us personally...
I'm on Twitter, ProZD, PROZD. I'm on YouTube as well. Just Google ProZD. You'll find me there.
And I'm Elvis Kaboom on Twitter. And it's Kaboom with a K, the correct spelling. Duke Kaboom spells it with a C.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's because of Canada, which kind of makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so this is it for Toy Story on TomHanksgiving.
Until Toy
God
Story
willing.
5. Yeah, it's going to happen. But wait, he won't be in it. Oh, God, but what if he's in it? Oh, that'd be horrible.
Oh, if he's in it, you gotta hope it's for a cameo.
I can't. Even then, that'd be cheap.
It'd be so weird.
That'd be like if Andy came back at the end of this one or something.
Well, Andy made a cameo in this one.
Yeah, but he didn't talk.
There could be a flashback
he did talk, but it was in flashbacks. I'm talking adult Andy,
We could get a Woody flashback.
Let's just not talk about it. It's just make me depressed.
Well, until next time, thanks for listening.
Tom Hanks, we fell in love with you, Tom Hanks, just like so many do deeply, because you made us smile, and your great on-screen style. So that's why we give thanks, 'cause you got a friend.